Today on Sports Central, we'll be over a college football game preview and prediction on the big matchup coming up here in Week 7 of this 2021 college football season, and it'll be over the Kentucky Wildcats and the Georgia Bulldogs. Huge matchup for each of these teams heading into Week 7. We got Kentucky on one side. This team beat Florida 2 weeks ago. Huge upset win there. And then they beat LSU by 3 touchdowns last week. In Kentucky, this is a solid football team right now, but they've got a huge challenge coming up here in Week 7 against an outstanding Georgia football team. This team is now the number 1 team in the nation, and I actually already had them ranked number 1 even before Alabama lost to Texas A&M. I mean, if you look at this defense, and I mean both sides of the ball in general, but especially defensively, Georgia's only allowing 6 points a game through their first 6 games so far this season. So that is an outstanding average, and this Georgia team is going to be tough to beat down the stretch. So should be a big game here between both of these teams. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Starting out with your team trends. Kentucky last week, once again, big win over LSU there. 42-21 was the final score there. They are 6-0. Who would have thought Kentucky, of all teams, would be 6-0? Now, I did not see this coming out of the Wildcats. I mean, Kentucky I knew was returning some production from last season, but overall, I mean, the situation, especially on the offense, just did not. I mean, it didn't seem like Kentucky would be a very good football team this season heading into it, but Kentucky, to my surprise and most fans' surprise, has been a very good football team. And once again, the past 2 weeks in particular have been outstanding for the Wildcats. But for Georgia, this team beat Auburn, no problem. 34-10 was the final score there. Auburn was ranked 18th at the time, and Georgia is rolling to 6-0 right now. I mean, this is a football team that has been nothing short of dominant over the past few weeks. So this is going to be a very tough Georgia team to beat down the stretch as we head into the middle part of this college football season. Game will be on Saturday, October 16th, Athens, Georgia. So the Bulldogs are the home team in this matchup. And if you remember the last time Georgia had a home game, it was against Arkansas, and the resulting score was 37-0. Georgia shut out the Razorbacks in that game, which was a pretty incredible game by Georgia. I mean, they played they played outstanding, to say the least, in that game. So Georgia at home is a tough team to beat. Spread has Georgia by 23.5. Bulldogs are favored by a lot in this matchup, and your over-under is still pretty low at 44.5. So, I mean, according to the spread here and your over-under, this is predicted to be a big-time blowout by Georgia. And, I mean, it's rightful to think that. I mean, if you look at Georgia's stats, I mean, this team is only allowing 6 points per game on average so far this season through 6 games. So, I mean, that's about as good as it gets, I mean, defensively. So, I mean, this Georgia team, it is tough to beat their defense. So, that being said, series history, Georgia leads at 60-12. So, Bulldogs have had a long history of having success in this game. Win streak is Georgia by 11. And the last time Kentucky won this game was in 2009. So it's been a very long time since the Wildcats have won this game. I mean, obviously with the win streak, 11 straight wins for Georgia. That's pretty outstanding. That's pretty rare to see in college football, a huge streak like that of a team winning a matchup. And then look at the FPI as well. Georgia's 95.4% favorite to win this matchup. So once again, Georgia is heavily favored in this matchup as expected. Here's a stat comparison. Kentucky's got 31 points per game, 18 points allowed, 197 pass yards a game, 212 rush yards a game, and then for yards allowed, 193 passing, and then 111 rushing. As for Georgia, 40 points per game, 6 points allowed per game. I believe the exact value is 5.8. So, I mean, this Georgia team's this defense is nothing short of outstanding, and even offensively, I mean, this offense is still improving and playing very well. So, they're going to be, once again, brutal team to beat. Pass yards per game, 235. Rush yards per game, 197. And for yards allowed, 137 passing, which is outstanding, by the way. Even if you can keep that yardage amount of passing yards per game under 200, that's outstanding. And Kentucky's got a great pass defense, but look at Georgia's 137 pass yards allowed per game so far this season. So, once again, Georgia's defense, I mean, Kentucky's got to offensively have an outstanding day in order if they're going to pull a huge upset here. Recent matchups for each of these teams: Kentucky beat LSU 42-21, beat Florida 20-13. So they've got 2 solid wins in a row there. Had a close one against South Carolina 16-10, and close games against Chattanooga and Missouri as well. But otherwise, Kentucky's played pretty well. But I mean, those close games against like South Carolina and Chattanooga and Missouri, they do concern me a little bit. But in the past 2 weeks, this team has played outstanding. So that's the main thing that I'm looking at here. But as for Georgia, beat Auburn 34-10, shut out Arkansas 37-0, shut out Vanderbilt 62-0, allowed 13 points to South Carolina there. 40-13 was the final score there. And 56-7 beat UAB. So once again, and if you look the week before that, they beat Clemson, which of course Clemson doesn't look too good right now, but that was still an outstanding win. So yeah, Georgia, I mean, this is a football team that is, I'd say, the favorite for just about everyone to win the national title right now. I mean, this team looks like the Alabama of the past couple of years. I mean, how dominant Alabama's been. I mean, last year's Alabama, I think that's Georgia this season. I mean, Georgia, this is going to be, I don't really see any team beating this team. So, I mean, Georgia looks very good heading into the second half of this college football season. It'll be interesting to see how things fare out as we head into the middle parts of October here. Some key points, both teams are 6-0. Kentucky's got 2 straight solid wins, which brought them all the way up to number 11 in the nation. And offensively, they've got to play a solid game. I mean, this offense is going to have to come ready to play against once again, a brutal Georgia defense. So, and offensively, I mean, that's kind of the thing for Kentucky that hasn't been the best. I mean, their offense has been, I mean, they've been good, but they're obviously not, I would say, a top half, well, maybe a top half offense in the SEC, but I mean, they're going up against a Georgia defense like this. It's going to be brutal. But yeah, they're definitely going to have to win the turnover margin. Turnovers are going to be huge in this game. If you throw 2 interceptions and fumble the ball, I mean, you're not going to be able to win this game. So for Kentucky, they're going to have to play a flawless game offensively if they want to win. Georgia, easily the best team in the nation right now, if you ask me. I mean, last week I was saying Alabama and Georgia were the 2 best teams in the nation by a significant margin. Now it's Georgia is the best team in the nation by a significant margin. So Bulldogs, this is a very talented football team, and they've got one of the best defenses that I can remember. I was watching this defense against Arkansas, and I saw a little bit of that Auburn game last week. I mean, yeah, they are tough, and I mean, it's brutal to run against them. And if you think running against them is hard, try passing. I mean, their secondary is outstanding. So, major national title contender. This Georgia team is definitely in the front running right now. And so that brings the pressure on for this game. But with that, let's get to the prediction here. Georgia and Kentucky. I've got the Bulldogs getting the win. No surprise, 35-17 is my predicted final score. So I've got Kentucky getting 17 points on Georgia, which you can consider that as you will. But I'm considering Georgia's allowing less than 10 points per game. I think Kentucky's going to have a tough time scoring over 20 unless something insane happens. So if Kentucky's going to win, their defense is going to have to play very well. They're going to have to keep Georgia to a very limited amount of points. I mean, if Georgia gets 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, I mean, good luck winning this game, because it's going to be brutal. But yeah, probability, Georgia 80%. So I'm pretty confident once again with the Bulldogs here. Over under is 44.5. I'm taking the over. And I think the over is definitely, I mean, it's very likely that we'll see the over in this matchup, because, I mean, if anything, Georgia could easily blow out Kentucky here. I'm just being honest. I mean, sorry to you Kentucky fans. I mean, maybe you guys even think so too. But Georgia, quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a massive blowout, like 42-0 or 42-10, something like that. But I'm going to go 35-17. This is one of the better case scenarios, I think, for this matchup. I mean, Kentucky's a good football team, but going on the road to a tough Georgia environment, I mean, they already played in Florida, so you did have a tough environment there. But, I mean, Florida is a different team in comparison to Georgia right now. So, anyway, that being said, 35-17 is my score prediction for this game, but I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below for this matchup, and I appreciate you guys all watching, like always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you later.